Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So then we pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. Today is our very first session of teachings of Lord Chaitanya for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. So today is 11th of March. So we're talking about 14 days for the most auspicious occasion of appearance of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Gaur Purnima ki Jai, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. So we'll start the teachings of Lord Chaitanya today. We'll start with introduction and then we'll also continue with our chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. So that's the plan. Let's start with prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatharubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Dharalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Satat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudode Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamunudau Yadadvaitam Brahmopanishadi तदप्यस्य तनूभा यात्मान्तर्यामि पुरुष इति सोषांश विभवः षडैश्वर्यै पूर्णो से भगवान् स स्वयम् अयम् न चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वं परमिह अनार्पितचरिं चिरात् करुणयावतीर्णः कलौ समर्पयितुमुन्नतो जुलरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियम् हरिः पुरटसुन्दरजुदीकदम्बसन्दीपितः सदा हृदय कन्दरे स्फुरतु वः शचीनन्दनः राधा कृष्ण प्रणयविकृतिर्लादिनी शक्तिरस्मात् एकात्मानावभिभुवि पुरदेहभेदं गतौ तौ चैतन्याख्यं प्रगमधुना तद्वयं चैक्यमाप्तम् राधा भावद्युति सुवलितं नौमि कृष्ण स्वरूपम् श्रीराधाया प्रणयमहिमा कीदृशो वा नयैव स्वाध्यो येनाद्भुतमधुरिमा कीदृशो वा मदीयः सौख्यं चास्य मदनुभवतः कीदृशं वेति लोभात् तद्भावादिह समजने शचिगर्भ सिन्धौ हरिन्दो कृष्णवर्णं त्विषा कृष्णं साङ्गोपङ्गस्त्रपार्षदं यज्ञै सङ्कीर्तनप्रायेत् यजन्ति हि सुमेधसः वैराग्यविद्या निजभक्तियोगा शिक्षार्थमेकः पुरुषः पुराणः श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदीर्यस्त्वमहं प्रपद्ये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वाम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So Dandavad pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in for our first session of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. We are praying at the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga that may our endeavor to study the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which are teachings for us imparted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Rupa Goswami, through Sanatana Goswami, through Ramanand Rai, through Sarvam Bhattacharya, through several other devotees. May we imbibe these teachings and transform our lives in such a way that we please Guru and Gauranga at all times. Hare Krishna. So let us move forward. We are going to start with the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Today we will do the introduction. This teachings of Lord Chaitanya, this is actually, it is said that this teachings of Lord Chaitanya, it was 5 morning lectures on Chaitanya Charitamrita that was delivered by Srila Prabhupada in New York in between April 10th and 14th of 1967. Right? So this is what is actually captured as introduction in this teachings of Lord Chaitanya, right? So wherein Prabhupada is going to give us a brief introduction, right? Who's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Right from Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are 3 books, actually, if you have to see. There are 3 books on the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? The 3 books are Chaitanya Charitamrita, as written by Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, which details the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means post-sannyas pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are detailed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then there is this Chaitanya Mangal, written by Lochan Das Thakur. That also details some of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then there is Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat. Right? This Vrindavan Das Thakur is called the Veda Vyas of Chaitanya Leela, because he is described in full details the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why when Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami always pays obeisances to Vrindavan Das Thakur, and he says, whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur is not covered in detail, that is what I am planning to cover in my in my Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that. So we see that the acharyas don't, they don't compete with each other, but they try to give the essence, right? Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita at a very old age because the devotees requested him to write those pastimes which are not covered in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in this way, this Chaitanya Charitamrita was written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, and it is supposed to be the postgraduate study. It is not a study for people, at least like me, who are very, very neophyte in Krishna consciousness. But Srila Prabhupada, being the most wonderful Acharya who took the Krishna consciousness message to the Western world, who took it across the ocean. So Srila Prabhupada is actually giving us an opportunity to get a glimpse of this postgraduate study. We're understanding what are the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So with that, we will start with the introduction of Chaitanya, teachings of Lord Chaitanya by His Divine Grace, Abhicharanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's move ahead. Let us study this. Like as usual, devotees can raise your hands. And one second. What is the screen? Yeah. So I hope everybody is able to see the screen. And devotees can raise your hands, and then we will start reading. Okay, so let me read the introduction. Then if devotees want, you can raise your hands and we can start reading like we normally do for Bhagavad Gita. So introduction to teachings of Lord Chaitanya, written by His Divine Grace, Abhicharanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Originally delivered as 5 morning lectures on Chaitanya Charitamrita, the authoritative biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami before the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, New York City, April 10th to 14th, 1967. The word Chaitanya means living force. Charita means character, and Amrita means immortal. As living entities, we can move, but a table cannot because it does not possess living force. Movement and activity may be considered signs of the living force. Indeed, it may be said that there can be no activity without the living force. Okay, for some reason, this is not working. One second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. Okay, so the word Chaitanya means living force. And Charita, Chaitanya, Charita, Amrita. Charita means character. Amrita means immortal. Right? And Prabhupada writes, as living entities, we can move, but a table cannot because it does not possess any living force. Movement and activity may be considered signs of the living force. Indeed, it may be said that there can be no activity without the living force. Although the living force is present in the material condition, this condition is not Amrita, immortal. The words Chaitanya Charitamrita then may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. But how is this living force displayed immortally? It is not displayed by man or any other creature in this material universe, for none of us are immortal in these bodies. We possess the living force, we perform our activities, and we are immortal by our nature and constitution. But the material condition into which we have been put does not allow our immortality to be displayed. Very wonderful. Right, so what is Prabhupada telling here? So Prabhupada is telling what Krishna tells in 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muyati. Right? So just as we pass from one stage of life to another in the same body, right? So we are born as a small child, and then so we are born as a small child, and then we become a toddler, and then we become a teenager, and then we become an adult, and then we maintain ourselves for some time, and then we produce byproducts, and then we grow old, and then we die, isn't it? That is a normal cycle that is there in any person's life, right? And once we become old and our body is no longer capable of doing all the functions that is required, then the soul actually takes up another body. And this process of taking up another body, this is called as death. And then jatasya dhruva mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Dhruva means certainly, right? Jatasya hi dhruva mrityur. That means anybody who is born has to die. In this material world, anybody is born, that person has to die. And if when a person dies, automatically he will have to take another body unless he perfects his life and goes back home, back to Godhead. So this is the normal procedure. Jatasi dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Tasmat apariharyarte natvam shochitum arhasi. Right? So one should not get bewildered by this process of the change of body, which we call as death. Isn't it? So what that is what is Prabhupada is mentioning here, that we are also eternal spirit souls. That means we are also Amrita, we are also eternal. But because we've been put into this material condition, right, of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, because of our nature to enjoy independent of the Lord, we have been put into this condition because of which we are not allowing our immortality to exhibit itself. Because we identify ourselves with the body. Who am I? I am Meera Harihara Subramaniam. I am a chartered accountant. I work for so-and-so company. I am a mother of these two girls. I am associated with it. All of these, whatever I am saying, are associated with my body, which is perishable, right? Which can leave, the soul can leave the body at any time. But if I am identifying myself with all of these conditions which are perishable, which can be taken away at any time, then I am not allowing my immortality to be displayed. But when I introduce myself as Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das, I am an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I try my best to serve the devotees who serve Guru and Gauranga. Then what? That is a condition that is eternal, because that is what satisfies my soul, right? So that's what is mentioned here. That we don't allow our immortality to be displayed. Why? Because we identify ourselves with the material body, which is perishable. It is stated in the Katha Upanishad that eternality and living force are characteristics of both ourselves and God. Although this is true in that both God and ourselves are immortal living beings, there is a difference, right? This difference is what we've been studying in Bhagavad Gita also. This difference is what we've been discussing in every session of our Bhagavad Gita class. What is that difference? Achintya Abheda Veda Tattva. That means we are equal to the Lord in quality, but we are not equal to the Lord in quantity. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. As living entities, we perform many activities, but we have a tendency to fall down into material nature. God has no such tendency. Being all powerful, he never comes under the control of material nature. Indeed, material nature is but one display of his inconceivable energies. Right? There's a beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita, right, which says, Daivi Hayesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. See, whenever we study teachings of Lord Chaitanya or whenever we study Bhagavatam, we should always relate it to Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita is our principal book. Everything is like a postgraduate study, is a master's study on our preliminary book, which is Bhagavad Gita, right? We have a basic understanding. Bhagavad Gita, basic understanding, right? Right from Guhyam, Guyyatamam, Guyyatara and Guyyatamam, right? It starts off with a basic understanding that I am not this body. I am a spirit soul, right? But I am a spirit soul, so I am Sat Chit and Ananda. The Lord is also Sat Chit and Ananda, but I am a minuscule. Mamaiva Amsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. I am an Amsha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly blissful, who is unlimitedly knowledgeable, and who is unlimitedly eternal. Whereas I am eternal, I am knowledgeable, and I am also blissful. But I am knowledgeable, blissful, and eternal in a minute level. Right? I don't allow my eternality to display itself because I identify with the body. I am not knowledgeable. I don't know what I ate probably 3 days back at this time during lunchtime, 1 o'clock. What did I have? What prasadam did I have? I don't remember. I don't know what I did exactly at this time yesterday. Even that much memory I don't have. But I have knowledge. I know how to eat. I know how to sleep. I know how to inquire about the absolute truth. I know that I have to do the ABCD square formula. Certain things I know. because I have learned from bona fide authorities, right? Certain things I know. I am also knowledgeable. The Lord is also knowledgeable, but the Lord's knowledge is unlimited, whereas my knowledge is very limited, right? So that is why in Bhagavad Gita also Prabhupada gives example of a spark of fire and fire. The fire can burn everything, right? Unlimited fire can burn off everything. The forest fire, it can destroy, and nothing can put off such a forest fire except the rains, which has to be also come, which also has to come by the Lord's mercy. Whereas a small spark of fire, if it touches my finger, what will it do? It'll probably a little bit of blood will come, and there'll be a little blood clot, and then automatically it will stop. It automatically heal itself, right? But it has got the same property as fire. But a fire, spark of fire, the effect that it can cause, the burn that it can cause is very infinitesimal as compared to a huge fire. A forest fire can cause much more damage. In that way, we are just trying to understand the difference between infinite and infinitesimal, right? Prabhupada gives example of the salt water, right? The ocean, right? It is all composed of salt water, right? The composition, the chemical composition, right, is the same as that of a drop of water in the ocean also. The chemical composition of both is the same, but the ocean is so huge and a drop of water is just infinitesimal, right? So in that way, we are equal to the Lord, but being infinitesimal, we come under the control of Maya. But what does the Lord say? It is my energy. Daivi hayesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. So for the living entity to cross the material energy or Maya is very difficult, right? But then mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So Krishna says, I am not under the control of the material energy because she is my energy, right? But it can come under, you can come under the control of the material energy. But then how can you transcend the material energy? By surrendering unto me. That's what is mentioned here. All right. So Prabhupada is giving an analogy here. Okay, Karpavalli Mataji, yes, your hand up. Go ahead. Please read.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. An analogy will help understand from there.
An analogy will help us understand the distinction between ourselves and God. From the ground, we may see only clouds in the sky. But if we fly above the clouds, we can see the sun shining. From the sky, skyscrapers and cities seem very tiny. Similarly, from God's position, this entire material creation is insignificant. The living entity is also insignificant, and his tendency is to come down from the height where everything can be seen in perspective. God, however, does not have this tendency. The Supreme Lord is not subject to falling down into illusion Maya any more than the sun is subject to falling beneath the clouds. Impersonalist philosophers, Mayavadis, maintain that because we fall under the control of Maya, when we come into this material world, God must also fall under Maya's control. This is a fallacy of their philosophy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should therefore not be considered one of us. He is Krishna himself, the supreme living entity. As such, he never comes under the cloud of Maya. Krishna is expansion and a supreme living entity, and as such, he never comes under the cloud of Maya. Krishna is expansion, and even his higher devotees never fall into the clutches of illusion. Lord Chaitanya came to earth simply to preach Krishna Bhakti, love of God. In other words, he is Lord Krishna himself, teaching the living entities the proper way to approach Krishna. He is like a teacher who, seeing a student doing poorly, takes up a pencil and writes, saying, "Do it like this, A, B, C." From this one should not foolishly think that the teacher is learning this is A, B, C. Similarly, also, although Lord Chaitanya appears in the guise of a devotee, we should not foolishly think he is an ordinary human being. We should always remember that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, God himself, teaching us how to become Krishna conscious, and we must study him at that light. Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
You can raise your hands. So here we are I believe all of you all would be part of the festival group. So we will be reciting, actually studying one shloka. Maybe today only I'll post this shloka. We can start studying, because Namo Mahavadanya is one of the offering mantras which we all know by heart. So today we will post the next verse, which is Krishna Varanam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajnair Sankirtana Praye Yajantihi Sumedasaha. Right? That's what is mentioned by Prabhupada in this verse. What does Prabhupada say? Krishna is the same, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same Lord Krishna, right? But his Krishna Varnam, right? He is not in the blackish blue form or the complexion, that is that of Sham Sundar Bhagavan, right? So Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Krishnam, his complexion, he is Krishna himself, but his complexion is Krishna, right? Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Krishnam, Sango Panga Astra Parshadam. So whenever the Lord appears, the Lord always appears with his associates, right? So when, even when Krishna appeared, right? Krishna appeared as Vasudev Krishna in front of Devaki. So he appeared with his Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma, right? He was wearing his Pitambar, right? In that way the Lord appeared, right? Narsinghadev appeared with his nails, right? When he came out of the pillar. Like that, various avatars, based on the purpose they want to satisfy, they always come with their associates, they come with their weapons, right? Who are the weapons and the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What is that? Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Panga Astra Parshadam, right? His Parshadas or his devotees or his eternal associates, they are his weapons, they are his associates, right? We have Nityananda Prabhu, who's Balaram. We have Advaita Acharya, who's a combination of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. Then we have Gadadhar Pandit, who is the same as Srimati Radharani. It is said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the mood and complexion of Radharani, then Srimati Radharani also wanted to come down to test, right? Are you following my mood and emotions properly? I want to come and check you, right? You've taken all of my mood and my emotions, but I want to come and see how you are performing in your avatar. So in this way, Radharani comes as Gadadhar Pandit. So what it said that whatever else was left of Srimati Radharani, in that mood and this thing, she came as Gadadhar Pandit. That's why Gadadhar Pandit is called Krishna Shakti, right? She is the energy of the Lord, Srimati Radharani herself. And then Shrivas, right? Shrivas is Narada Muni himself, who is empowered with Bhakti Shakti. Whomever Narada Muni needs, he gives Bhakti Shakti to them. Right? Whether it is Dhruv Maharaj, whether it is even Brigari the hunter, whether it is, Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, all of these, anybody and everybody who comes in contact with Narada Muni, right? They get the Bhakti Shakti. Because when the Lord appears, he appears with his eternal associates, right? And it is said that Kali Yuga only Krishna appears in his 5 avatars. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Thakur. In all the other yugas, Krishna always appears in 4 avatars, right? Which is Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, or Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Sudarshan, or Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. So like that, always it is 4 avatars, 4 amshas. But in Kali Yuga, especially for us who are Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagyo Putrata, right? For us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in his 5 features avatars, which is 5 features is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, right? That we also recited this verse. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isham Isha Avatarakan, Tat Prakasham Satat Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. So today's class will be a little technical because I want to give the basic, establish that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna himself, who has taken the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani. And then once we start reading, then the flow will automatically happen, right? So, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isha Bhaktan, Isha. Okay, we'll come to it. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isham. Isham actually refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, it's called Isha, the supreme controller, like Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Right? Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. And then also in Brahma Samhita, Ishwaraha Parama Krishna. That means Isha has its root word, right? For Ishwara. That means a supreme controller, right? That is Isha. Isham. And then Isha Avatarakam. Avatar means expansion of the supreme personality of Godhead, incarnation of the Supreme Lord. That refers to Advaita Acharya. Right? Isham, Ishavatakam. Tat Prakasham. Prakasham refers to manifestation. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first manifestation. Like Krishna's first manifestation is Balaram. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first manifestation is Nityananda Prabhu. Right? Vande Gurun, Isha Bhaktan, Isham. Isham Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ishavatarakan is Advaita Acharya. Isham Ishavatarakan. Tat Prakasham is Nityananda Prabhu. Tat Shakti is Gadadhar Pandit, right? You saw that Gadadhar Pandit is the energy of the Lord. Tat Shakti. Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam, right? So the first one, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. Vande Gurum Isha Bhaktan. Isha Bhaktan means the devotee of the Lord. It refers to Srivas Thakur. who is a pure devotee of the Lord, who is empowered with the Bhakti Shakti. Right? So Vande means I'm offering my respectful obeisances first to a pure devotee of the Lord, Srivas Thakur, to Isha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Isha Avatar Khan, who is Advaita Acharya, Tat Prakasham, who is the first manifestation, Nityananda Prabhu, Tat Shakti, Gadadhar Pandit. Right? So in this way, I'm offering my obeisances to all the Pancha Tattvas, taking their mercy. Right? One can proceed with understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he is. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Channa Avatar. He does not, whenever somebody used to say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, oh, Vishnu, 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 like that. Right? He will say, I'm not the Lord, I am the servitor of the Lord. Like that, he will close his ears. Why? Because he did not want people to claim themselves as God. The purpose of his incarnation was to teach people how to love God. Right? That is why, we also get this example, how the Lord teaches through his associates, like how Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita to us through Arjuna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also wants to teach certain things to us, right? But then, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Okay, surrender to me, I will reward you accordingly, right? But it is very difficult. Like Arjuna also asked that until 18 chapters, right? Channa means hidden. That was not directly visible. Channa avatar means incarnation that is hidden. That is Gupta. That is secret avatar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to demonstrate what Krishna actually taught us in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says surrender, but how are we to surrender? Like Arjuna asked for the 18 chapters, Arjuna asked so many questions, and finally Arjuna understood, right? The Karishya Vachanam Tava, I will listen to your words, and that is how he surrendered, right? So how to do that surrender? That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, came to demonstrate, right? And a couple of other verses also which we recited, it gave us the internal meaning of the internal reasons for the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? We will take that up as we go through. Whenever Prabhupada is talking about it, that time we will take up that. Right? There are also external reasons that we also already know in this verse. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Sango Pangastra Parshadam, Yajnai Sankirtana Prayer. He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission was to propagate the Harinama Sankirtan. This is one of the external reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Yajna Sankirtana Prayer and Yajantihi Su Medasaha. Not all people in Kali Yuga will take up this process. Who will take up? Only the most intelligent persons will take up this process of Harinam Sankirtan and attain perfection simply by performing the Yuga Dharma for this age of Kali, which is Harinama Sankirtan and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this simple process for perfecting one's life actually was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is the main reason, at least the main external reason for the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is what is described in this particular verse that we recited. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Sango Pangastra Parshadam, Yajnaya Sankirtana Prayer, and who will take it up? Yajantihi Su Medasaha. Right? Only the most intelligent people will be able to understand and take up this process like that. Okay, so now Prabhupada is further elaborating, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to come and what is his teaching? Why the advent of another avatar? That is what is explained by Prabhupada here. Okay, anyone else wants to read? Rohini Mataji, you want to read? Yeah, go ahead. In the Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, give up all your nonsense and surrender to me. I will protect you. We say, oh, surrender. But I have so many responsibilities. And Maya, illusion, says to us, don't do it or you will be out of my clutches. Just stay in my clutches and I'll kick you. It is a fact that we are constantly being kicked by Maya, just as the male ass is kicked in the face by the she ass when she comes for sex. Similarly, cats and dogs are always fighting and whining when they have sex. Even an elephant in the jungle is caught by the use of a trained she-elephant who leads him into a pit. We should learn by observing these tricks of nature. Maya has many ways to entrap us, and her strongest shackle is the female. Of course, in actuality, we are neither male nor female, for these designations refer only to the outer dress, the body. We are all actually Krishna's servants. But in conditioned life, we are shackled by iron chains in the form of beautiful women. Thus, every male is bound by sex, and therefore one who wishes to gain liberation from the material clutches must first learn to control the sex urge. Unrestricted sex puts one fully in the clutches of illusion. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu officially renounced this illusion at the age of 24, although his wife was 16 and his mother 70, and he was the only male in the family. Although he was a Brahmana and was not rich, he took sannyasa, the renounced order of life, and thus extricated himself from family entanglement. If we wish to become fully Krishna conscious, we have to give up the shackles of Maya. Or if we remain with Maya, we should live in such a way that we will not be subject to illusion, as did the many householders among Lord Chaitanya's closest devotees. With his followers in the renounced order, however, Lord Chaitanya was very strict. He even banished Junior Haridasa, an important Kirtana leader, for glancing lustfully at a woman. The Lord told him, "You are living with me in the renounced order, and yet you look at a woman with lust." Other devotees of the Lord had appealed to him to forgive Haridasa, but he replied, "All of you can forgive him and live with him. I shall live alone." On the other hand, when the Lord learned that the wife of one of his householder devotees was pregnant, he asked that the baby be given a certain auspicious name. So, while the Lord approved of householders having regulated sex, he was like a thunderbolt with those in the renounced order who tried to cheat by the method known as drinking water underwater while bathing on a fast day. In other words, he tolerated no hypocrisy among his followers. From the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn how Lord Chaitanya taught.
We'll talk about this, right? Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually renounce at the age of 24? Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived in this world for 48 years. Right? Generally, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela is given in three parts. It's called Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, and Antya Leela, described very beautifully in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, wherein a different pastimes of the Lord are described in detail. Like one speaks about the youth pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in great detail. One talks about the after sannyas pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one actually talks about the travel and pilgrimage pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he married and he actually married two times, right? Once he was married to Lakshmi Priya Devi, and then he was married to Vishnu Priya Devi. Right here it is mentioned that when his wife was only 16 years old, he was 24 and he took sannyas. So at the 24th year of age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took sannyas, right? And from 24th year to 30th year, for the next 6 years after taking sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went for South India Yatra. He went to Vrindavan, he went to Bengal, he went to Navadvip, right? He toured around all the places. Then from the 30th year, that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned 30, he lived in this planet for 48 years. For the next 18 years, from age of 30 till 48, when his earthly Leela manifested, he stayed entirely in Jagannath Puri. Right? Why? Because in Jagannath Puri, the Lord actually demonstrated how the loving reciprocation of devotees happen. Right? We studied in Nectar of Instruction, just the book that we completed. Dadati pratigranati guhyam akyati prachati bhunkate bhonjeti chaiva shadvidam priti lakshana. Such kind of loving exchange between devotees, right? Such kind of demonstration, practical demonstration of how should the interaction between devotees happen. How should devotees feed each other prasadam? How should devotees engage in Harinam Sankirtan? All of that was practically demonstrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the last 18 years of his life. So these are the three levels or the three stages of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. Once he took sannyas and he was traveling in various places, he instructed various devotees. So those instructions are what we are going to study in this teachings of Lord Chaitanya. What he instructed Rupa Goswami, what he instructed to Sanatana Goswami, like that we are going to study here. And then Prabhupada makes a very important point here. Right? Prabhupada is saying, why did the Lord have to take sannyas? He is the Lord of the world. There is no need for him to take sannyas. But we know from Bhagavad Gita, right, where Prabhupada explains, Yadyat acharati shreshtas. Krishna himself says, Yadyat acharati shreshtas tattat edet rojana. Right? Whatever the leader performs, the common people will follow. Right? So why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take sannyas? To establish the principle of sannyas. Actually, no one should take sannyas in Kali Yuga, it is said. Right? That certain exceptions are provided because according to time, place, and circumstances. Right? Otherwise, Kali Yuga, no sannyas. Sannyas is not at all allowed. Only Prabhupada, instituted, because the sannyas at Prabhupada instituted is Parivrja Kacharya, right? One is not artificially giving up, going to the forest and meditating. That is not the sannyas. But what is that? A sannyas, three-danda sannyas. What is that? Offering one's manasa deho geho. That means offering one's words, mind, and body in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That person is called a three-dandi sannyasi. Right? It's not about the number of sticks that a person holds. It's about offering one's body, mind, and words in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Prabhupada also talks about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were intelligently discriminated and taught very, very beautifully. Right? If somebody is in a brahmachari ashram or sannyas ashram, for that person to associate with women is completely unpardonable. We see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not forgive Chota Haridas at all. But on the other hand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was happy to give a name for a grahastha child, right? For a child born of a grahastha couple who are engaging in Krishna consciousness, keeping Lord Krishna in the center. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was happy to give the name for the child. Why? Because we also studied in Bhagavad Gita, right? Chatur Varne Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhavishya. According to our tendencies, according to our karma, according to our desires, we can be situated in any one of the 4 ashramas, and in that way, when we are regulated in our lifestyle, right? Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the sex life. That is according to the religious principles, right? What is given in the Shastras. I am that sex life, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was happy to give a name to a child of a grahastha, because he knows that such a grahastha is regulated in his life and keeping Krishna in the center. And such a grahastha also will attain the same result as that will be attained by a properly regulated brahmachari or sannyasi. Why? Because all of them have Krishna as the center of their life. So that is what is most important, right? Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichu Mor Arpilo Tuapade Nanda Kishore. That is the crux of taking sannyas, right? Do not working for sense gratification, keeping Krishna in the center of all of our activities, thought, word, and deed. If you are practicing that, then we will attain success of Krishna Prem, irrespective of whichever varna or ashrama we may be situated in, like that. Okay, let's move forward. Nagavini Mataji, go ahead. From the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam to all. Chaitanya
Pranam.
Charitamrita, we learn how Lord Chaitanya caught people to break the shackles of Maya and become immortal. Thus, as mentioned above, the title may be properly translated as the character of living force in immortality. Yeah, the supreme living force is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is also the supreme entity. There are innumerable living entities, and all of them are individuals. This is very easy to understand. We are all individuals in our thoughts and desires. And the Supreme Lord is also an individual person. He is different. Though in that he is the Mataji kuch beech mein aa raha hai. He is the leader, the one whom no one can excel among the minute living entities. One being can excel another in one capacity or another. Like each of these living entities, the Lord is an individual, but he is different in that he is the supreme individual. God is also infallible. And thus in the Bhagavad Gita, he is addressed as Achyuta, which means he who never falls down. This name is appropriate because in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna fails into illusion, but Krishna does not. Krishna himself reveals मते जो कर सारे पूरा Krishna himself where is it? Sorry.
Oh, Krishna himself reveals his infallibility.
Reveals his infallibility when he says to Arjuna, when I appear in this world, I do so by my own internal potency. Bhagavad Gita 4.6. Thus,
Thank you, Madhavi. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. So here, this leads us back to Bhagavad Gita, right? So Chaitanya Charitamrita, again, Prabhupada is explaining us what is the meaning of Chaitanya Charita Amrita, right? That the character, Charita means character, the character of that living force in immortality, right? And then Prabhupada is again explaining the same thing. Natvayavaham jatu nasham, natvam neme janadipana, chaivana bhavishyamah, sarve vayam atah param. You and me and all of these kings assembled, they are all living entities. I know everybody from their past births, you don't know. Right? You are an individual, I am an individual. We all have our individual tastes, our individual abilities, which will always remain with us. But dovetailing does not mean merging with the Supreme Lord. But the living entity maintains his identity, the Lord maintains his identity, both are personal, while the Lord is infallible, Achyuta. The living entities are sometimes fallible, they fall down to the material nature. Right? But then when the living entities are born in this world, they are forced to be born into the wombs of certain mothers according to their desires and according to their karma and according to their previous activities. Whereas the Lord appears according to his own will. When the Lord appears, he tells all of his Parshadas, okay, Yashoda Maiya, Nanda Maharaj, you all appear now. Right? After some time, I will appear. Right? So all of the Vrindavan Dham, the paraphernalia, the cows, the calves, the gopas, the gopis, the elderly gopis all come down first. The entire Vrindavan Dham is ready and then Krishna appears. Right? So in this way, the Lord appears according to his own sweet will. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tatva deham punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So Krishna is saying, I appear by my own potency. Right? That is what we need to understand. All right. So we will continue this teaching the village all out Chaitanya tomorrow. Now we go on to Bhagavad Gita. Already Prabhupada has taken us to chapter 4. So we just go a little more ahead from 4.8 and 4.6 where Krishna is telling the reasons for his appearance. And then what did we study in Bhagavad Gita? Chapter 4 we studied the transcendental knowledge. What is the transcendental knowledge? Transcendental knowledge is to perform one's duty in a way that will take us out of this temporary world and take us back to the eternal spiritual world. For that, what are we supposed to do? We need to understand Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Understand that the Lord's name, form, pastimes and everything are all very, very transcendental. The Lord is not actually required when to be under the control of the material nature. It's not possible because it's the Lord's energy only, like that we studied, right? And then what did we study? We also studied about how one should render service. Right? Yajnatat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. We should perform our duty without a sense of proprietorship, without a sense of attachment to the results of the activities, without being independent, knowing very well that what we can do is only desire and endeavor, make an effort. That is in our hands. But the result is obtained from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one should do one's duties, what is required for the bare necessities of life. Right? Because one cannot even maintain one's own body, right, without actually working. So one cannot renounce one's activities and just go to the forest and situate oneself there, because there also one's mind will be running. What can I do now? What can I do? What can I get now? What should I eat now? What should I work now? You cannot sit down and be peacefully even for a minute, isn't it? So that is what Krishna is saying. Sama siddhava siddhaucha kritvapi na nibadyate. Right? Whether in success or in failure, one should not get affected. Right? Shitoshna sukha dukkada. Agama paino anityas tam satikshashva bharata. So whether it is happy situation or miserable situation, whether it is gain or whether it is loss, in all situations, a devotee always renders devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pleasure. So that brings us to our verse number 23 of Bhagavad Gita of chapter number 4. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, Nagavani Mataji already read. Moshmi Mataji, go ahead. Text number 23.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Yes,
Pranam.
ma'am. Dandavat Pranam.
Gita Sangas
Gata Sangasya Muktasya.
Janana Vatita
Jnana. Mataji, you can repeat after me. Gata Sangasya Muktasya.
Sangasya Muktasya
Jnanavastita Chetasaha.
Jnanavastita Chetasaha
Yajnaya Charataha Karma.
Gyayacharata Karma
Samagram Praviliyate.
Nagram Praviliyate Gata Sangasya of one unattached to the mode of material nature, Muktasya of the liberated, Janana
Jnana Astita. Jnana means knowledge.
Jnana Avastita, situated in transcendental Chetasaha, whose wisdom, Yagna, for the sake of Yagna, Krishna, Acharataha, acting, karma, work, samagram, in total, praviliyate, merges entirely. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The work of a man who is unattached to the mode of material nature and who is fully situated in the transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. but becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all duality and thus is free from the Mataji, free from the contaminations of the material mode. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind can't be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is the primitive Vishnu. Therefore, all his works are technically sacrifices, because sacrifice aims at satisfying the supreme person, Vishnu, Krishna. The resultant reaction to all such work certainly merge into transcendence, and one does not suffers Mataji, one does not suffer material effects.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Right. So, Matra Sprasha Konteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada. There is happiness and distress. There is heat and cold. There is all sorts of dualities that are there in this material world. right? One has to go through these dualities whether one likes it or not. Like the other day we were discussing how we don't pray for suffering like Kunti Maharani does, right? We don't pray for suffering. However, suffering does come with its quota, right? We have to suffer the amount that is due for us. We cannot escape that quota, isn't it? So in that way, we always have to go through the amount of suffering we have to get, and we will definitely go through the amount of happiness also that we need to get, right? So we did not pray for happiness, we did not pray for distress. What are we supposed to do? Tolerate happiness, tolerate distress, knowing well that both shall pass, and perform one's duties for the pleasure of the Lord. That's why Prabhupada mentioned here, all sacrifices have to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yajnatat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandanaha. Right? Whatever yajna we perform, whatever activities, yat karoshi, yad ashnashi, yad juhoshi, dadasi, yat tapashyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva mat arpanam. Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita very, very clearly, yat karoshi, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, oh son of Kunti, right? Perform those austerities, perform those activities, perform those eating activity, whatever, yash ashnashi, juhoshi, dadashiyat, austerity, whatever you do, just do it for my pleasure. In that way, what happens? You don't incur any sinful reactions. That is what is clearly mentioned by Srila Prabhupada here. Prabhupada is reiterating the same point here, right? So the resultant actions will merge into transcendence. One does not suffer from material effects. If you work for Krishna, you will not be bound by the results of the activities that we are performing, right? Text number 24. All right, who will read? Monimala Mataji, go ahead. Monimala Mataji. Okay, Sudha Mataji, who can unmute?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Dandat Pranam.
Brahmarpanam Brahmave Brahmagnam Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom
Translation.
because of his full contribution to spiritual.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mataji, Monimala, Sudha Mataji, synonyms.
Okay, synonyms, sorry, Hare Krishna. Synonyms: Brahma, spiritual in nature; Arpanam, contribution; Brahma, the supreme; Havi, butter; Brahma, spiritual; Agnav, in the fire of consummation; Brahmana, by the spirit soul; Hutam, offered; Brahma, spiritual kingdom; Eva, certainly; Tena, by him; Gantavyam, to be reached; Brahma, spiritual; Karma, in activities; Samadhina, by complete absorption. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Purport: how activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahma, Brahman, means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahmajyoti, his spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti, but when the Jyoti is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material. This material veil can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or combination, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the result are all combined together, Brahman or the Absolute Truth. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter dovetailed for the cause of the absolute truth regains its spiritual quality, its spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yajna or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Very nice purport. Right? What is samadhi? Right? Samadhi does not mean we go to the forest and close our eyes. That we do samadhi every day at home also. Sometimes when we are chanting, we're just dozing off. That sleep, right? Because we've not slept adequately the previous day, and then in the morning we got up in the Brahma Murta time trying to chant. Right? That time that means we are in tamasic. We are in tamasic mode. That is not samadhi. Samadhi is transcendental. That means we've crossed even the sattva platform, right? So the samadhi that we experience when we are chanting Hare Krishna, that is not samadhi, that is tamasic, pure tamasic. That is why it is recommended that we sleep early and we wake up early, right? If we sleep late and wake up early, for sometimes, when there is genuine seva, right, we have to do it, then we can do it, we should do it. Then it should not become a habit that every day I sleep at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock and get up at 4 o'clock. And what do we do during the Brahma Murta chanting time? We'll be dozing off, right? That's not the purpose, right? We should be active, we should be wide awake, we should have had good quality rest, and that way we actually we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that is the way we can be situated in samadhi. Samadhi means complete absorption. So when I'm chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I should be completely absorbed in the holy name. When I'm studying teachings of Lord Chaitanya, I'm completely absorbed in understanding whatever Prabhupada is teaching us. When I'm studying Bhagavad Gita, I should be completely absorbed in what is the instruction that Krishna is giving Arjuna and what can I take from that instruction and apply in my life. That is what it is. Samadhi means to be completely absorbed. And the condition is that the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer, and the result, everything becomes one in the absolute. What is that? Does it make everything becomes merged? No. Everything assumes a spiritual scenario. It assumes a spiritual disposition. That means everything, every instrument, every object is being utilized in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is called oneness. Oneness is not ekatvam. Ekatvam anupashyati in Ishopanishad comes. That ekatvam is oneness in interest. What is that oneness in interest? Oneness in propagating the interest of the Lord. The Lord says, anyone who propagates Bhagavad Gita, who preaches Bhagavad Gita to others, is very dear to me. The Lord says, surrender everything and give up everything and surrender to me. Right? I should not go and preach, give up everything and surrender to me. Right? Give all your property to me. Then that is not that I'm doing misinterpretation. Right? I'm trying to make my livelihood at the cost of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? When we are explaining Bhagavad Gita to others, we should simply repeat according to our realization. Right? We can just talk about how my life has got transformed by adopting these principles of Bhagavad Gita, and how the other person also should simply try. Take this book, take this Bhagavad Gita, or take some small book, The Science of Self-Realization or Easy Journey to Other Planets. Depending upon if a person has got a scientific bent of mind, then you can give them these books like Perfection of Yoga, Easy Journey to Other Planets, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People. All of that is covered in The Science of Self-Realization, all those books. Right? For people who want to have some breezy reading they want to do, then you can give books like Krishna, the Supreme Reservoir of Pleasure, right? Where there's a lot of leelas of Krishna is given, right? Where Prabhupada is talking about how Krishna is the Supreme Lord, how he from day one he actually defeats the demons, like that. right? So in this way, everything becomes spiritualized, and that is what is everything becoming one in the absolute, right? Not merging with the supreme Brahman that is referred here. Okay, there's one something on the chat box. Okay, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's move forward. Text number 25. Who's reading? Shobha Mataji, go ahead. Text number 25.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Mataji, text
Hare
25,
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada. Daivam eva pareyakyam yogina paryupasate brahmagno apareyajnam yajne naito pajuhvati. Synonyms based Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Brahma, sorry.
Daivam, in worshipping the demigods.
Yeah. Devam, in worshipping the demigod. Deva, like this. Apare, some others. Yajnam, sacrifices. Yoginaha, mystics. Paryupasate, worshipping perfectly. Brahma, of the absolute truth. Agno, in the fire. Apare, others. Yajnam, sacrifice. Yagnena, by sacrifice. Eva, others. Upaduhvati, offer. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Purport. As described above, a person engaged in discharging duties in Krishna consciousness is also called a perfect yogi or the first class mystic. But there are others also who perform similar sacrifices in the worship of demigods, and still others who sacrifice to the Supreme Brahman or the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. So there are different kinds of sacrifices in the terms of different categories. Such different categories of sacrifice by different types of performers only superficially demark varieties of sacrifice. Factually, sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yajna. All the different varieties of sacrifice can be placed within two primary divisions, namely sacrifice of worldly possessions and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. Those who are in Krishna consciousness sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord, while others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice their material possessions to satisfy demigods such as Indra, the sun god, etc. And others who are impersonalists sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of impersonal Brahman. The demigods are powerful living entities appointed by the Supreme Lord for the maintenance and supervision of all material functions like the heating, watering, and lighting of the universe. Those who are interested in material benefits worship the demigods by various sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals. They are called Bhav Ishvara Vati or
Bahu,
believers in me.
Bahu means many.
Bahu.
Ishvara
Okay,
means Lord.
or believers in many gods, but others who worship the impersonal feature of the absolute truth and regard the forms of the demigods as temporary, sacrifice their individual selves in the supreme fire and thus end their individual existence by merging into the existence of Supreme. Such impersonalists sacrifice their time in philosophical speculation to understand the transcendental nature of the Supreme. In other words, the scrutative workers sacrifice their material possessions for material enjoyment, whereas the impersonalist sacrifices his material designations with a view to merging into the existence of Supreme. For the impersonalist, the fire altar of sacrifice is the Supreme Brahman, and the offering is the self being consumed by the fire of Brahman. The Krishna conscious person, like Arjuna, however, sacrifices everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus all the material possessions as well as his own self, everything is sacrificed for Krishna. Thus, he is the first class yogi, but he does not lose his individual existence. Haribol. Thank you,
Thank you so
Mataji.
much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Sri Prabhupada says, what is the last snare of Maya? The last snare of Maya is one thinks that I am God, right? I will do all these austerities. I will study Bhagavad Gita. I will try to get over the three modes of material nature. And after getting over the three modes of material nature, what will I become? I will become God. That is the last snare of Maya. One can never become God, right? Because even one merges into the Brahman effulgence, like we discussed the other day, one will not get bliss. Because Jivera Swarupaye Krishnere Nitya Das. We are all Anandamayo Abhyasa. We are always trying to get happiness from all of our activities. We cannot remain idle even for a minute. If you want to always do something, what can give me pleasure? What can give me pleasure? So what are we doing? The doubting. What can give me pleasure to what can give pleasure to the Lord? If I offer nice burger to the Lord will be pleased. If I offer nice garland to the Lord will be pleased. If I dress the deities in a nice new dress on Gaura Purnima day, the Lord will be satisfied. Right? In this way, when the Lord is satisfied, automatically we become satisfied. And that is the formula for happiness in this material world. We become happy when we make the Lord happy, like that. Right? Otherwise, the impersonal is klesha, what is that? Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbir avapyate. Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, klesho adhikatarastesham, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Klesha means difficulty. Adhika, very, very, very much difficult for somebody who follows this path of impersonalism. Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest. Right? To consider that the Lord is a light, the Lord does not have a form. That is avyakta sakya chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. Gatir means destination. The destination of a person does not believe in the Lord's personal beautiful form of Shama Sundar. What is his gatir? Dukkham. Right? Because he'll be frustrated at the end of it. Right? Avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha vadbir avapyate. Because we have a material body and we have so many issues like headache, from the head till the toe, something or the other always pains. Right? So what does an impersonalist think? Oh, body means pain. So the Lord is always transcendental. The Lord is always blissful. So he cannot have a body. But that is a wrong understanding. Why? Because even the Lord is also described as nirguna. Right? Nirguna. Nirguna is how Lord is described. But only the devotee understands the real meaning of nirguna. Nirguna means not that the Lord does not have any qualities. Right? We know that the Lord is Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashashriya. He's got so many wonderful transcendental qualities. But when we say Lord is nirguna, it means the Lord does not have any material quality. That is what we need to understand. Okay, that is the crux of what we read just now. All right. Let's move forward. Text number 26. Shrotra, who read? Deval Mataji, go ahead. Oh, Sudha Mataji, sorry, go ahead.
Mataji, I read Mataji.
Oh, you read. Okay, okay. Deval Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Shrotraneendriyanyanye sanyam yagnishu juhati shabdadin vishayananyam indriyagnishu jufati. Synonyms: Shrotra adini, such as the hearing processes, indriyani, senses, anye, others, sanyamya, of restraint, agnishu, in the fires, juvati, of a, shabda adin, sound, vibration, etc., vishayan, objects of sense gratification, anye, others, indriya, of the sense organs, agnishu, in the fires, juhati, they sacrifice. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Purport: the members of the fourth division of human life, namely the brahmachari, the grahastha, the vanaprastha, and the sannyasi, are all meant to become perfect yogis or transcendentalists. Since human life is not meant for enjoying sense gratification like the animals, the four orders of human life are so arranged that one may become perfect in spiritual life. The brahmacharis, or students under the care of a bona fide spiritual master, control the mind by abstaining from sense gratification. A brahmachari hears only words concerning Krishna consciousness. Hearing is the basic principle for understanding, and therefore the pure brahmachari engages fully in Hare Nama Nukirtanam, chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. He restrains himself from the vibrations of material sounds, and his hearing is engaged in the transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Similarly, the householders who have some license for sense gratification perform such acts with great restraint. Sex life, intoxication, and meat eating are general tendencies of human society, but a regulated householder does not indulge in unrestricted sex life and other sense gratification. Marriage on the principles of religious life is therefore current in all civilized human society, because that is the way of restricted sex life. This restricted unattached sex life is also kind of yajna, because the restricted householder sacrifices his general tendency towards sense gratification for higher transcendental life. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. So regulation is the key. Yukta ahara viharastya, yukta chesasya karmashu, Yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you should be regulating your eating, your sleeping, your recreation and your working, right? So all of this, when it is regulated, and what happens? Even a grahastha, even though as seeming to be having a lot of attachments, like husband, wife, father, in-laws, children, grandchildren, right? So many attachments. But yet, if we keep Krishna in the center and work for the satisfaction of the Lord, the entire family can actually help each other to become Krishna conscious. In this way, we don't become attached to each other because we are giving pleasure to each other's senses, but rather we are affectionate towards everybody, and we engage in the services of the Lord. What gives pleasure to the Lord? And then we are satisfied in receiving the prasadam of the Lord. It is not that we have to deprive ourselves and not have prasadam. All of us starve all the days because we are practicing austerity. We want to become dear to the Lord. No, very, very easy process. Susukam kartum avyayam. Offer nice foodstuffs to the Lord, right? And then entire family sit together, have a good family time, having nice Krishna prasadam. Who's stopping us? Discuss Krishna katha, right? All of the senses can be engaged. What do we sacrifice? We sacrifice the wrong intent of trying to enjoy independent of the Lord, because we cannot get satisfaction there. We will only get frustration when we try to work independent of the Lord, like that. Okay, Manimala Mataji, did you read or no?
No, Mataji.
Oh, okay. So you read the next verse, text number 27. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam,
Mataji, I will decide after you, Mataji.
Okay.
I will decide
text number? Yes, text number 27. Sarvani Indriya Karmani.
Sarvani Indriya Karmani.
Prana Karmani Chapare.
Prana Karmani Chapare.
Atma Samyama Yogagna.
Ami Yoga.
Juvati Jnana Deepite.
Juvani Jnana Deepite. Sarvani, all. Indriya, senses. Karmani, functions. Pranaya Karmani, functions of the life breath. Cha, also. Apare, others. Atma Samyama, controlling the mind. Yoga, linking process. Agayu, in the fire of. Juhavate, affairs. Jnana Dipite, because of the urge of self-realization. Those who are interested in self-realization in terms of mind and sense control offer the functions of all the senses as well as the vital force breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. Purport done by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The yoga system conceived by Patanjali is referred to herein in the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. The soul is called Pratyagatma and
Pratyagatma, Paragatma.
As long as the soul is attached to sense enjoyment, it is called Paragatma. Soul is to the sense of 10 kinds of air within the body, and this is perceived through the breathing system. The Patanjali system of yoga instructs one how to control the functions of the body's air in a technical manner, so that ultimately all the functions of the air within become favorable for purifying the soul of material attachment. According to this yoga system, Pratyag Atma is the ultimate goal. The Pratyag Atma is a withdrawal from activities in matter. The senses interact with the sense objects like the ear for hearing, eyes for seeing, nose for smelling, tongue for tasting, hand for touching, and all of them are thus engaged in activities outside self. They are called the functions of the prana vayu. The apana vayu goes downwards. Vaya vayu acts to shrink and expand. Samana vayu adjusts equilibrium. Udana vayu goes upwards. And when one is enlightened, one engages all this in searching for self-realization. Hari bol, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so we'll end here. So this Patanjali system of yoga, right? It's also recommended that whenever we are not able to, his mind is wandering too much because of yesterday we did too many rajasic activities, went out and we went to the mall and too much shopping and all something we did. Because of that, we are very tired. Our mind is wandering, thinking of all the things we saw in the mall yesterday, like that very disturbed mind. Then it is said that we can do pranayam. That is, we control the breath. In this way, what happens? We relax our body, we relax our mind to come back to. We can do it for about like 5 to 7 minutes. And then we again start the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In this way, our mind will come to focusing on the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Right? Because the breath coordination is very, very essential. If our mind is wandering somewhere, then, we will be focusing and on all the things that we were looking at yesterday, etc. So in this way, the breathing system is also, like when we do yoga also, we can see that our body is relaxing. Right? We take long breaths. That also helps us to relax. And that we were able to focus. Right? They always say, even our modern management gurus, they say, be mindful. Right? Being mindful means being focusing on that particular activity which we are doing now, not to think of the past or the future. Right? They say past is mystery and future is past is history and future is mystery. Right? The present is a gift. Right? Take it with both your hands and completely focus on what you're doing right now. Right? Makes sense, right? When we are chanting, we should only be chanting. When we are checking our emails, we should only be checking. We should be, when we are looking at our WhatsApp message, we have a time limit. Say half an hour, we'll answer all the WhatsApp messages and then close WhatsApp. Right? Even for me, even I have to practice it. Right? I'm not claiming to practice all that I'm saying, but that's our destination. We want to reach there. Right? I was telling the other day, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, he's got specific times in the morning, half an hour, 1 hour, in the afternoon, 1 hour, or in the evening, 1 hour, half an hour. I don't know exact time, but little time in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. That's all he checks his WhatsApp. And all of his he's a temple president of Pune, and he also travels abroad to United States and all. And then he also is in charge of the temple in Hyderabad. So many things, right? Yet people who are known to him, they all know that if Radhesham Prabhu will only reply at this time. Right? And they wait for his response, right? So it is very clear how we manage our activities, and then everybody will understand, right? But the point is, we ourselves don't want to control our mind. Whenever we are checking WhatsApp, some email pop-up comes and we go to the email. There one YouTube link comes, we go to the YouTube, and then we forget, why did I come here? Okay, and then we were in WhatsApp, and then we came to YouTube, we came to Facebook, we did one entire chakkar, and then we find that 24 hours is gone. Okay, and I thought of taking a 5-minute break, but I have taken a 5-hour break, right? That's what happens. Because we keep switching, keep moving the mobile, right? And then we don't know where we are going. YouTube say, Facebook say, WhatsApp say, kidhar gaye hum log? Humko hi nahi pata chalega, hai na? We don't know. That is why we have to be very clear how we utilize our time. Time is money, they say, right? Even the management gurus, they say that. Time is money. And we should not try to manage our time. We should try to manage our focus. That's what new mantra. New mantra is focusing on being mindful. Do what you are doing with complete focus. In this way, you will finish your work also on time, and then you will have time to do other things also. Rather than that is all derived from Bhagavad Gita only, right? Krishna tells us, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekaha kurunandana. An intelligent person will do only one activity at a time. Bahushaka hi anantascha. Right? I've seen some people have so many windows open in the so many windows. WhatsApp hai, Facebook hai, YouTube hai, lecture bhi khula hua hai, this, that. We are also confused. Oh my God, so much I have to do. And then the mind just closes itself. I'm not doing anything. Best thing is go and sleep. Itna kaam nahi kar sakte. That's why Burijan Prabhu also says, give the mind a simple task. Don't tell the mind, you have to do chant 16 rounds and Brahma Murta time. The mind is thinking, oh, I cannot do. I don't want to do. It is too much. Right? Burijan Prabhu says, just give the mind a simple task. I will chant this one Maha Mantra properly at this time with complete focus and hearing the Maha Mantra. Like that we do step by step, slowly. Right? All of these management gurus, they all develop their techniques and ideas from Bhagavad Gita only. Right? So in this way, that's why Bhagavad Gita is to be the manual on which we have to base our life on. Right? So when we hear from our acharyas, our senior, gurus, Siksha gurus and Diksha guru, etc., we know how to apply these principles of Bhagavad Gita in our life. Right? We need to focus, means Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekha kurunandana. We should not be multi-focused, doing 10 things at a time. Bahushaka hyanantascha buddhaya avyavasayinam. Right? We are ourselves to confuse ourselves. Right? All right. Oh my God, 2:10. All right. 2:10. No, I think my mobile, my clock is running fast. Yeah, 2:05. Okay, 5 minutes this way, that way is okay. Now let's quickly do Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees prepare to give us your darshan. Already I can see 7 devotees. Hari Bol. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyaadishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gauranitai 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 Jaya Panchatattva 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 Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Shama Sundar Radha Madhav Jai Shri Radha Shama Sundar Jai Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Gurudev Gurudev Nita Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jai Ram Sankirtan ki jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai Manchakalpadruvhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So our inaugural TLC session we have Rajneesh Prabhu, Shobha Mataji, Karpagavali Mataji, Monimala Mataji, Shri Priya Sampat Mataji, Rohini Mataji, all of you all. Thank you all very much for joining in. We request that all of you join us for the entire study of the book Bhagavad Gita as it is, 18 chapters, 700 slokas and purports by Srila Prabhupada, and then teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the entire book, and many more books to come. Prabhupada has written so many books for us, right? Our entire lifetime will fall short. So in this way, let's study Srila Prabhupada's book with enthusiasm, determination. Let's encourage each other to study the books of Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada says, follow 4 regulated principles, chant Hare Krishna. And to chant Hare Krishna, we need to transform our lives according to the instructions of Prabhupada in Prabhupada's books. Right? Then only we'll be able to chant. Then only we'll be able to make time for things that are essential for us for spiritual advancement. So thank you all very much for joining in. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So if any devotees have any queries or any questions or any realizations, then you can raise your hand and share it right now. Otherwise, we are already about 10 minutes over time. We can end the session. All right. Hare Krishna. We'll meet tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Brahmurta chanting. And then meet at 12:30 for TLC and then Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.